Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Big news this morning on Nikola and bigger news coming tomorrow. First of all, the Badger is dead, GM is out, but folks, what happens tomorrow could potentially drive Nikola's share price down to $5 to maybe $12 a share if we're being generous. And that's not good for Nikola, given that right now it's trading for just above $20 per share, despite the fact that it is down over 20% today. Nikola could literally half in value tomorrow. Let's quickly hit some background in terms of what's going on and then talk about why this is so bad, what's happening today, and well, what happened today and what's happening tomorrow. It's a disaster. It ain't good. But first, I have to remind you that today is Cyber Monday and you definitely still want to take advantage of the amazing coupon code for Black Friday month down below. If you want to bundle up, remember to email me at kevin@beatkevin.com and you can bundle up or just grab a single course for money and stocks. We have the daily live streams, real estate investing, or the other courses linked down below. Check it out. Okay, here's a quick background, and then we're gonna hit the instant stuff that's coming up. This is crazy. So background, Nikola came to fame when it hit the stock market via a SPAC. It's basically a process when a blank check company with a bunch of investor money takes a company public by merging with a shell company. So nobody really cares about that. What we care about is when this merger happened, Nikola got so hyped up as the next Tesla, people were calling it, that Nikola skyrocketed from like $10 to $20 a share to $79 per share on June 9th. At one point, it was trading for over $80, almost $90 a share. This led the stock to go trending on Robinhood. Just even it literally going from like $20 to $30 led it to go trending on Robinhood. It was like the hot stock. And people were piling into Nikola. Nikola was like the place to make instant money and get rich quick. Well, on June 14th, I posted a video called Danger to Robinhood Users. Big risk coming. You could still watch that video. It has over 400,000 views. Actually, I think it's like 399,000 or something like that. But anyway, I talked about exactly how companies go trending on Robinhood, and because of this, people end up buying the companies blindly without realizing the massive shareholder dilution that's coming up. And I said, look, I did the math in the video. I'm like, this is where the stock is now at like $80. This is how many shares are outstanding. This is how we're gonna go from like 20 million shares to like 60 million shares available. And this stock could literally plummet to $25 per share. It might not go down that low, but hey, it could go into the 20s. Literally within 3 weeks, when those shares released, the stock fell to $29 per share from 79. When I made the video at first, people thought I was nuts. Again, you could still watch it. It's there. Danger to Robinhood users. Meet Kevin. Type that into YouTube and you'll see it. So we're going to talk about also the other, obviously the big things coming up here with Nikola, but let's quickly finish the background. About 4 weeks later, Nikola announced it was partnering with GM. The stock then skyrocketed again from its low in like the $29 range, which, by the way, I did say, hey, at $29, I'll buy Nikola. And I'll explain that in a moment. Don't worry, we ended up selling Nikola, but we did buy Nikola. And when I say we, I mean I mentioned it to my course members. I'm like, at $29, now that that dilution at least is over, it was a buy at $29. That changed though. So 4 weeks later, Nikola announces that they're partnering with GM. The stock skyrockets, goes to $40, $45, up to $55 per share. However, I believe this partnership was a terrible mistake. You can actually look at my Twitter and see that I tweeted at Trevor Milton and he replied to me. I tweeted him that I think this is an audience mismatch. You can't sell Nikola cars to GM buyers. It's a wrong demographic. These are totally different groups of buyers. You got to target Tesla buyers. What are you doing? I even personally exchanged emails with Trevor Milton. But my point here is like, no, not GM. Please, no, not GM. So as soon as that GM partnership was announced and I tweeted Trevor and Trevor replied going, no, we're good. This is a good thing for us. It's going to be Nikola DNA. Don't worry. GM's just putting it together. I said, I'm out. I sold all of my shares at $45. So, hey, I made 50%. It worked out in that sense because we bought it like 29, sold it around 45. Great. And I told all my course members the same thing, which remember, if you're a course member, you get notifications when I buy and sell. I always post those in the money and stock course. But anyway, within 1 week, this is just crazy timing. Within 1 week, the short seller Hindenburg releases an extremely damning piece, accusing Nikola of rolling a truck down a hill, having no actual products, and lying and deceiving investors. Now, I'd looked into Trevor's past before. There were some issues with prior companies. I've read all the lawsuits between Nikola and Tesla. I've made videos on them. I researched this company thoroughly. When I saw this Hindenburg piece come out, I got a little bit more concerned. Now, fortunately, I already sold. I broke down the entire Hindenburg piece, and Nikola responded. And rather than dispute the fraud, Nikola basically admitted to it. They admitted to rolling a truck down the hill, saying they never said the truck they rolled down the hill to make it look like it was driving itself was driving. They instead said, well, it was in motion, and we never said that it was driving itself. Again, fortunately, we were already out of the stock, because after that hit piece, which basically Nikola confirmed, and it's common, short sellers do this all the time. Like, it's not a surprise for Hindenburg to release a paper going, y'all suck. There was another short seller that short sold Enphase, and the stock went from like $55 to $39. I sent a message to all my course members. This is ridiculous. Enphase is a good company. I read the report. This is garbage. I'm buying Enphase. Well, Enphase went from $39 after that short seller report to like, it's over $130 right now. So it 3x'd basically. So usually those short seller reports aren't that big of a deal because a lot of the stuff gets put together. It's kind of like a clickbait YouTube video that drives the price down. The short sellers make money and then it goes back up or more. And then the short sellers are gone anyway because they made their profit. But in this case, Nikola substantiated the fraud allegations. And it's like, dude, what? So that's bad. And at that point, the only thing really propping up Nikola's stock was its partnership with GM. But again, we're long out of Nikola at this point. Well, today, GM released an announcement on the Nikola partnership. And here's how it breaks down. GM slashed their big plans with Nikola. And the agreement that GM now provides downgrades Nikola from a technology and manufacturing partner, which was the whole purpose of Nikola, to have disruptive hydrogen battery technology and then GM just to manufacture it. Nikola to come with all this technology and DNA of Nikola. And now GM is saying, no, you know what? Instead of using you as a technology partner and, us as a manufacturing partner, we're just going to be on a sort of a customer basis. That is, whenever you guys make your hydrogen cells, let us know and we might buy them from you. That's not good. This is really bad for Nikola. See, think about Nikola for a second. Nikola is a hydrogen and, alternative energy EV company, electric vehicle company. That is, they either use hydrogen to power their electric motors, or they use battery power to power their electric motors. And Nikola has always said that their big focus is semi-trucks and long-distance hauling to basically, use hydrogen as a more efficient and cost-effective way of transporting goods long haul distances rather than using diesel, which is a pollutant, obviously. And their goal was to make big bucks competing with Tesla, who's also coming out with a battery electric semi-truck. Hydrogen is much lighter. You don't have all the weight of all the batteries. You could refuel a hydrogen truck in 15 minutes. And this is compared to maybe stopping for an hour to 2 hours to charge up a Tesla. We'll see. Maybe the supercharging technology will get better. But the point is, you could fill up hydrogen way faster. It's way lighter, and it should, in theory, be more efficient. But see, the leftover problem for hydrogen is we don't yet have hydrogen infrastructure in the United States, which means even if you have hydrogen semi-trucks, you don't really have anywhere to, get gas, hydrogen gas, to fill up your hydrogen gas tank. This is where the Nikola Badger was actually brilliant. And I'm saying this aside from all the fraud stuff going on. That's bad, obviously. The Nikola Badger was brilliant. Let me tell you why. The Nikola Badger had the option of a battery pack, like a Tesla, and then combining that system with a hydrogen fuel cell. So basically, you'd have a hybrid. You would have your electric car, and you'd have batteries and a hydrogen system. You have two green fuels. This is brilliant because you could use your battery for getting around, whatever. But if you want to go longer distances, you kick on the hydrogen gas motor and boom, you keep going. That's great because you can then fill up hydrogen in as little as 5 minutes by going to a hydrogen gas station. You don't have to sit around charging your battery like you do with a Tesla. Why this is so cool is because when you have hydrogen cars on the road, guess what comes after you have hydrogen cars? Well, you get demand for hydrogen fuel. When you have demand for hydrogen fuel, you get hydrogen gas stations, and now all of a sudden you force infrastructure to prop up throughout the United States to propagate. And then what happens? Well, great. Now let's bring in the hydrogen semi-trucks. And now we've created a hydrogen car that works with batteries as well. We've created the infrastructure. Now we get the EV semi-trucks or the hydrogen semi-trucks. Boom, you got a great company. The theory was awesome. Unfortunately, with the Badger being dead, hydrogen demand is basically gone because sales of the Toyota Mirai, which is a hydrogen car, basically plummeting. They've been sucking for years. Nobody's buying hydrogen. And it basically means the odds of us getting hydrogen gas stations are pretty low, which makes the potential for hydrogen semi, bad. In other words, this is all really bad for Nikola. But that's not all. Of course not. It gets even worse. Nikola currently has 171 million shares outstanding. That's known as the public float. Well, Deutsche Bank believes that tomorrow, December 1st, as many as 130 million more shares will be unlocked for sale. JP Morgan thinks this number could be as high as 161 million more shares. In other words, potentially as many as 161 million shares will hit the market tomorrow, which is basically doubling the amount of shares that exist right now. Many of the investors at Nikola invested into Nikola at a $10 cost basis, which means their shares cost them $10. Well, if these unlock tomorrow morning and you could sell Nikola shares at $20 per share, then you've still doubled your money. If you're into it for 10, you could get out at 20, you've doubled your money. The problem is when all of a sudden you take 161 million shares and you get even if you just get a fraction of these people selling and they're willing to sell as low as $10 a share because that's their break-even price, they still get a return at like $15. They're still up 50% in less than a year, which is awesome. I mean, they're into it for 6 months and they make 50%. Hey, that's great. But because of this GM failure, you could get a lot of investors in Nikola that are like, you know what, I'm done, I'm out, we got fraud, we got the failure of the GM partnership, you know what, I just want to break even. Well, in that case, this share price could fall down to $10 to $12 tomorrow. It's probably the realistic range, but quite frankly, if people just really want out of this stock, with all these new shares unlocking tomorrow, it's entirely possible that you could see Nikola, at least temporarily, go down to penny stock status, which would literally be $5. AKA, this is, in my opinion, not a company that you want to ride with for some time, at least until they actually prove they have some kind of innovative technology, but they just lost their Trojan horse for that technology. So even if hydrogen was going to come and they had an awesome hydrogen semi-truck, which, they show off on YouTube that they have, how are you going to get the infrastructure now without the Badger? It's all bad around here. It's not a stock that I want to own. And unfortunately for Nikola, well, I wish you guys the best, but I can't be a part of what's going on with Nikola. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this explanation helpful, consider sharing it. And folks, we'll see you in the next video. Check out those programs down below. Thanks. Bye.